DNA testing or DNA sample gathering, and you got to see the site firsthand and just.
You need something that's just out there, just out of your reach that you can't quite touch to keep you going. Something interesting to do.
But how did this mysterious...
The United States, except for Hawaii and Rhode Island, has a Bigfoot. But the hoaxes come from every state in the Union, every country in the world. And I think it'll continue for as long as man's on Earth. It gives them something to do. I think I've said it before that man needs their monsters. You need something that's just out there, just out of your reach that you can't quite touch.
Of recordings like the Sierra Sounds led him to conclude it is definitely a language. It is definitely not human in origin, and it could not have been faked.
Since the 1700s, actually before that, the legend goes way back. And things happened over the years that people said, you know,
The very
made them. But sometimes I get the sense that I'm being hoaxed. Twice, I think that I saw some real tracks. Whether they've been made by a man's foot, I didn't know, but a fairly large foot at that.
Thus increasing attendance for...
Jerry will ever tell the truth to anybody, but he's the kind of person that's just mine. When I look at the Patterson film, I have to be honest and admit that it matches the general anatomy of Jerry Romney. For example, when I saw Jerry
This
Romney
color seems to work the best for trout.
More ape-like than I had expected in the sense. I was very limited. I was very cursory viewing of it. This piece of footage also suffers from the same shortcomings that we, but a very poor.
By the size of the trees. Everyone thinks it's maybe a 6'3", maybe 6'4".
People claim to have had first-hand eyewitness experiences, and
Tell someone, like we say, if they can prove it, that was hoax, it'll go away like the rest of them. But it's been there for 30 years now. It's not been proven wrong, and every time something comes up about Bigfoot, that film comes into play somewhere, whether it's talked about or whether it's shown. That is a constant moneymaker because people believe it's real.
As I walked across this sandbar, I was able to get some fairly good footage of it. It turned a couple of times.
Who first visited. Now, I knew I wasn't sleepwalking, but on the other hand, I couldn't accept it.
Call William Mattar. Visit williammattar.com.
It's authentic photo of a tall white female. What do you say about this picture?
The teacher was out, and as usual, she was enjoying the stars. But usually...
You plan.
Disney Plus.
You plan.
That was even close. And I speak for... On the other hand, when they reach an age equivalent to a human, perhaps 18 or 19, 21 for sure, they have grown so much that they now need a brief...
They are aware of the fantastical story. They gave this remote canyon on the slopes of footprints in the area, supposedly measuring 15 inches long and 4 inches deep. Around July 4th, two of the miners witnessed an upright 7 to 8 foot tall. While they initially swore to silence about what they experienced, their first run-in with another person happened to be creating a media sensation that was covered nationally through the AP Newswire. Only two of the miners, Leroy Smith and Fred Beck, ever returned to the cabin site, accompanied by 2 police detectives and a reporter who took this photo of them in the location.
First, fuel incredible.
Yeah.
Where the great-grandsons of miner Leroy Smith, as well as Shane Corson and several members of the Olympic. We're ready, man. Feeling, bro? Feeling good. I feel like we're going somewhere. Something's happening. Oh, camera ball. Let's do it, Mark. Good. In order to reach the area of Abe Canyon itself, we would have to hike a And then that evening, this guy had what sounded like people arguing outside his tent all night, kind of in the general area that I'm in right now. So it kind of creeped him out to the point where he...
Because their anatomy reflects their behavior. That's a well-known sort of thing. All animals' anatomy affects or reflects their behavior. So this is the kind of terrain they love to be in. Way up high, really difficult places to get to, where humans would just rarely, if ever, go. And they are at home there. There's fresh water. That's why the miners were there. There was a spring less than 75.
There, buddy, yeah. It's like a little bunny or something. Mark would take a first group down to the site. Turns out what happened was slightly better than that outcome, without downplaying its severity. I'm trying to think where.
Okay.
There's a big old growth. This, I mean, Fountain story, the Austin story, Port Chatham, Jacko, and Ape Canyon. I mean, there's a few others in the mix, but this is like the core of Bigfoot stories that so many of us read and
see if anything happened. True to form, Bigfoot didn't appear. That didn't mean my little